one is never ready.
Okay. Okay. Ready?
Nice and loud. Yeah.
Actually, that's not a problem. You know, when I worked in the hospital, I'd be going into rooms to talk to patients. And I'd be like talking to one patient in one bed, and the people in the other bed, even with the curtains on, would say, "Could you hold it down over there?" You know, usually you can hear me all the way down the hall. But welcome to our last cooking demonstration of the year. I'm Debbie Lucas, dietitian. This is John, cook extraordinaire chef. We could just say yes, chef to him all the time. And our topic today is antioxidants, but our food is Indian food. And you might say, well, what do those have to do with each other? Well, there's lots of antioxidants in Indian food. So I want to talk about antioxidants today. We'll talk about our recipes. And I want to talk about your plans for the holidays, and if you have any special dishes you want to make, or if you're going to be modifying anything, or what your plan is. Does that sound okay? Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Is that mostly more spices than anything, or is it more than just spice?
Repeat the question.
Is Indian food, are we talking spice as opposed to certain ingredients?
Yeah. Was it a both?
I feel like it's mostly spice, but I'm gonna let John.
I'd say that there's no one set spice package, but I think of it as a good spice. It's where a lot of spices come from.
That's good. I didn't mean it to occur.
No, it's okay. And you know, it's not always hot. You think when things are spicy, they're gonna be hot. You can make things hot, but you don't have to. These spices are just really flavorful. And I think it's so good to try these recipes to learn how to put these things together. And some of them I didn't have, so I had to lean on John. But I was going to stop at KP International Market on the way, just in case he didn't come through, but he had what I needed. So, does everybody know what an antioxidant is? Oh, I've heard of them. You've heard of them. So antioxidants, they're in our food. Our body's defense system against things that could cause damage. So we have sometimes unstable molecules in our body just as a result of breathing the air, or exercising, or doing things that are perfectly normal. But then they create these free radicals, and those are unstable molecules that can go around and kind of like little Pac-Man damage things. So we can get our antioxidants from the foods that we eat. Our body will make them too, but unfortunately in this day and age, we're exposed to so many things that get oxidized because of our environment and what's in the air and toxins and everything. Now our body just can't keep up. So we really can get it from our foods. And this helps protect us from cancer, from heart disease, from helps protect our DNA. It helps protect us from Alzheimer's. It helps protect us from all the chronic diseases when we get our antioxidants, which are in plant foods, including our spices. So I think when we're talking Indian food, the spices really are all full of antioxidants. Again, don't want to forget those. And John, I don't need to start cooking, do you?
Yeah, I do actually.
Okay, you go. You go.
Okay, I'm making salt paneer, which in this instance is not the paneer. We're using tofu instead of paneer. Paneer is a homemade cheese. It's a little denser than extra firm tofu. In fact, if you got the super firm tofu, it would be very similar to that. But it is a cheese, so it's going to have things that we're avoiding, fats and cholesterol. So then we're going to start by sauteing the garlic and ginger in water saute. So this. And do this just for a couple of minutes.
Can I ask you something while I do that?
Yes.
My recipe, the one I'm making, the aloo mater, it is called for garlic ginger paste. I couldn't find that, but I do have ginger paste, and I just chop some garlic in it. Is that okay?
Yeah, I mean, I have seen the
Oh, thanks.
garlic ginger paste at KP,
Okay,
but nowhere else.
yeah, that's,
And I have asked people about it and they've said, yeah, you lose something if it's already been chopped, something disappears.
ah,
So when I want a paste, I will use my plane and grate
I
the
grate it really
garlic.
fine. That's a good idea. I could have done that. I just chopped mine really fine and kind of squished it down.
Now, this asks for chopped garlic and chopped ginger, so it's gonna be kind of coarse. I'm getting a hit of garlic and ginger, I don't know about you, but it's,
Well, to make garlic paste, you can put in one of those things that squeezes garlic, you know, those breath.
you can,
That's a great idea. Yeah, that's a good idea. I do have one of those. I hardly ever use that though.
oh,
But yeah, that would have been good.
I use it, I've used it for that too. I have read more recipes lately that talk about grating the garlic. And that just breaks up the cells and makes the finer thing, but if you're using a garlic pressure. I mean, I use mine 2 or 3 times a week, so it's not like it's a wasted chore.
Is the garlic ginger paste, is that something that you make ahead of time or?
Uh,
just-
no, it's-
No. But really, I think they're saying that you buy this jar of it or a squeeze bottle of it,
Oh,
but I couldn't find it. And I should have gone to the KP International Market, which is like on Zinfandel.
yeah, I've been
They
there.
have everything you could possibly want. International.
So did you just mash up some garlic and ginger?
Yeah.
You figure before there was KP, there were types and categories. So I'm gonna add my spices here. And this is the coriander, cumin, and I've got a quarter to a full teaspoon of cayenne. I use an 8 because I recognize that heat is not the main ingredient for a lot of people. And you could use this Korean pepper, which is even milder, but this is closer to the way I cook it, so. And we're just gonna get this hot. The heat is going to release some of the stuff. No, I'm fine, thank you. Gonna add the tomatoes. Now, the original recipe from the book, which is over here in the case, calls for tomato sauce. I tend to cook lumpy food. I need texture. It's one of the big things that you lose when you start cooking vegan stuff. You lose chew when you start getting
Yeah.
insipid food. So I go where there's a chance to have chunky. I go chunky, which is why this sag paneer, often if you go to a restaurant, the sag is going to be blended into a wonderfully smooth puree. Not here. We're gonna take it straight from the frozen, chopped spinach, flop it in and cook it. Because we're gonna accept that there's texture. So I'm gonna let this simmer for a while, marry the flavors, and pass it back to you.
Okay, so my recipe, the alma mater. I got it started early because there's several spots in it where you have to cook for like 6 to 7 minutes. And then I'm gonna add the things now that it's just gonna cook for 15 minutes. So I'll just tell you what we did up to this point. So I pre-cooked in this pan just some diced, we used the Yukon Gold. So John and I both tried the recipe at home this week. So you used russets, but thought the golden would be better. I use Yukons. I think that's better too. And you don't have to peel them or anything. See, and I diced them a little bigger when I made it at home. And I thought smaller would be a little bit better. So I just heat them up in the pan for about 5 minutes. They don't have to be completely done because I'm gonna cook them for 15 minutes in the pan here in a minute.
You don't use any oil, just
I didn't use oil.
Just a little
I just
water?
turned the pan and kept throwing a little water in right when you think it's about to burn. You throw a little more water in, or broth, or wine, or whatever you've got.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like I really needed that. So then I set those aside, and then the next step was to start getting into some of my seasonings. So one of them is my cumin seeds. Nope, that's what it was. It wasn't fennel seeds, was it? Just I had a moment of panic. Was it fennel seeds? No, it was cumin seeds. So I just have some little cumin seeds. It's often used in Mexican food, cumin. You usually get it ground and you put it in there, all things Mexican. So when you get the seeds, you put them in the pan. I put them in my pan, the same pan I cook my potatoes in. I just put about 3/4 of a teaspoon in, and you just let them heat up and they start to crackle a little bit. I'll confess, when I made this at home, I overcooked these a little and there were little black things in my pan, but they were okay. So you'll heat those up. And then the secret spice after that that I had to get from John was the, how do you say it?
That's a potato.
Also potato. It sounds like a kuna matata. So it's a little powder, and it was also called king. So you see it in this recipe called both, and it's just a little white powder. What's it from? Also potato.
Look over there and this is something that has a little bit of a garlicky component to it. It tends to, people complain about its odor, and it's, but they also insist that they have it in their food, and you never need a tablespoon. You usually need a quarter
With a
teaspoon.
quarter teaspoon. And I think things like that are good to buy. You can find them in a bin,
Yeah.
because then you just take a little bit.
Yeah,
Keep them in a bag, and that little jar is perfect.
Is it salty?
you never check.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
There's
mean,
no
you
salt
can-
in it.
Yeah, it's
So then after I heated that up, I threw an onion in. It calls for 1 or 2 onions. I had a pretty big onion. And so I just threw the onion. Diced it up, cooked it up until it's heated up. And then my next step is to add my ginger garlic paste that I already mentioned. I just kind of made my own. I actually, for the first time, got the squeeze bottle of ginger. Has anybody gotten that? You know, like you get the squeeze bottle of tomato paste. It's a squeeze bottle of ginger. So I use that, and then I tried to make my own paste from the garlic. So that I added. And then it said to called for a green chili, which in the recipe, when I looked it up, it said it's kind of a hotter chili, but we don't always like spice here, so I didn't use this chili. What do you use when you make it?
with a jalapeno.
Okay, yeah, I
So
like
not
that.
the modern jalapenos are not as hot as they were when I started this program. They're much, they're still spicy, but they are, I think over the years have gotten bigger and they are less
Less hot.
hot.
Yeah, you were right.
So,
You were right.
but I still wear rubber gloves when I chop them.
Yeah.
Because contact lenses are not friends with
But note that all these things we're talking about, that pepper too, super powerful antioxidants. All of our seasonings, powerful antioxidants. So then after that cooks a bit, then you're supposed to add 3 tomatoes that have been pureed. I just use canned tomatoes. At home, I use diced just like John had there. Today, my canned tomatoes were big tomatoes, so I did puree it up a little bit. And then I dumped that in here, added a little tomato paste, and let it cook. And so now I'm on to my next step, which is adding all my other seasonings and adding the potatoes back in. Adding the potatoes and then my frozen peas, which has been sitting here long enough to not be frozen anymore. So my seasonings, coriander, you use coriander in yours too, right?
Yes.
Coriander, which is from the leaves of cilantro, right? Coriander?
Yeah, the cilantro is the leaves, coriander is the seed.
Okay. Oh, it's a
Although
seed, all
the
right.
Indians will call both coriander.
Okay.
The green leaf is called coriander, fresh coriander or green.
Yeah.
I find that very confusing. Fortunately, they specify or show pictures, so.
Okay, so it calls for 2 teaspoons of coriander powder, and like, this is what I really don't love about this type of measuring spoon, because it doesn't fit in my jar.
Mathematics.
I know. I could do just a bunch of the others, but no, I'm gonna do that.
One thing I've done to defeat this, I bake a lot of bread, and I save the amber jars from yeast. I don't know if you,
Yes,
Uh-huh.
and I have a drawer full of those. And I move things like cumin, like coriander, like cinnamon, turmeric into these jars. The amber will keep the freshness and the whiteness of the mouth allow me to use my square spoons
uh-huh.
to fit in.
And you know-
It's so frustrating.
I love these that have the long ones at each end, but even the long one didn't work in my jar. Okay, and then John lent me this chili powder, and he told me a very important distinction that I had no idea. Because I said I didn't have their special kind of chili powder. And so he said use cayenne, but I just brought chili powder. And the difference is, and he uses this Korean one, it's that it's actually ground up powdered peppers as opposed to my chili powder, or that is a mixture of it. So this is just ground up peppers. So I use a little of this. How much do I need of that? Teaspoon. And then turmeric, and you guys have probably, you can't throw a rock without hearing about turmeric usually. Because it's so good for us. People are taking it in pill form, but it is a super powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant.
I'm gonna throw the spinach in because it's
Okay, if you like to use turmeric, you can just buy it too. It's just like a little root that, or a big root that you can just buy and throw it into anything. One thing about turmeric is it's got curcumin in it, and that's the part that's the antioxidant, and it is more available to our bodies if we add a little pepper too.
Oh.
Black pepper, thank you. Turmeric is the yellow stuff. When you see yellow, you know it's turmeric.
and it stains.
It stains everything. Yes. It stain your spatulas and everything. Okay, so now I'm just gonna stir all that up. I'm not gonna add the salt right now. If you guys want more salt, you can salt it. And I will tell you that most anything I make, people say it needs salt, including me. But we'll add it later. Did you add any salt to yours?
I put in half a teaspoon. It calls for a full teaspoon.
Yes.
But there again, I expect the person who is eating it to adjust to where they like it.
Okay,
But I think there's a baseline that you have just to make sure that there's an edge on flavor.
well, let me go.
Did you add, pepper to the chili powders?
No, but I'm going to.
Oh.
Thank you for saying that. No, I didn't. So now I'm gonna add my potatoes. There's 3 Yukon Golds. And you just heat them up in your pan, no oil, until they get that little sticky on them.
And she was in the.
And then I'm gonna add my peas, a cup of peas. This might be a little more than a cup, but I really like peas. And then I'm just gonna let it cook for a while. I can add a little water and let it cook. So John, you can go. You can take it next.
Okay, my spinach was colder than room temperature, so it's just coming up to 10. It's gonna need to simmer a while longer.
Why not?
Get some of the spices mixed in with it. Now the spinach, ideally, you want to have something citrus or vitamin C with the spinach to make. What is it that releases something in the spinach? Iron maybe, or?
Iron, yes, because there's heme iron and non-heme iron. And in plant foods, it's non-heme and it's not as easily absorbed as the kind of heme iron that's in animal products. So if you combine it with a vitamin C rich food, which also happens to be a powerful antioxidant, then you're going to get more of your iron.
That's the virtue of the tomatoes here.
Yes.
They're bringing your vitamin C to the party. Once it's simmered, you're gonna add the tofu or the paneer. It is possible to make it by yourself. It's really, if you can make coffee. You can make. Because you just you soak the beans till they're plump, throw them in a blender, turn it down on, count to 10, turn it off. Pour it into a nut milk bag, squeeze out the juice. Hot, turn on the heat when it gets hot, and you're done. Use your soy milk, you add a little coagulant, wait for 10 minutes.
What's your coagulant?
Well, you can do lemon, or you can do calcium carbonate or something like that.
Okay,
Right, and then you put it through the nut bag again and pull out all your little curds and squeeze out the water. And I thought this was going to be a radical dance. And it turned out not to be. And I made it not for the tofu, which I wound up giving away. I made it because when my daughter was a toddler, there was a product in the co-op that was okara fish. And that was, okara is the grounds that you don't throw in the soy milk. What do you do with this high protein stuff? Well, you use it in making this fish thing. And I will make this.
okay.
I did not have the finesse necessary at that point to do it right. I wound up with a brick. A brick with seaweed on there. So it was a fishy brick. Not. So every now and again, I will wheel out and give it another shot. And fresh tofu is beyond delicious. And my daughter will still make it, just feel warm.
Okay. I added a nut bag and tofu making stuff to my Christmas wish list. You can get it on Amazon, I think.
Yeah, or at the co-op.
Or at the co-op, but people can't just click on it for you, right?
No, they can just point you to the rack. Okay, so we're gonna add the tofu. Here. These are gonna be a whole lot spongier than what you get at the restaurant. Just
Because in a restaurant, they fry it first. often. And we do love that. But not so good. I wondered when I made that, and by the way, I had that for breakfast today because so it makes a lot, this recipe. And I didn't want it to go bad, so I've been eating it for breakfast. But I thought it might be fun instead of cubes to like rip it, like bite size. I don't know, I thought it'd be more cheesy.
Oh, shredded?
Oh, we could shred it too. But usually in this recipe, there's like chunks. But also you'll see it just like little blobs of cheese. So I thought that make it more like blobs of cheese.
What's the difference between shredding and ripping?
Shredding makes it much finer. Ripping is like you just take your hands and do this with it.
now that reminds me of changing all the time.
Yes,
Have you seen this video of that?
you gave me that. I was making it for Christmas.
He takes a mini mushroom and instead of dicing it the way normal humans would. He takes the mushroom, he rips it apart, throws the little chunks in. And I thought, it's amazing how wonderful the random texture, the random, oh, that's. And so, that's one of my, you'll do this before New Year's. Also, that he makes when he does the shepherd's pie, instead of doing a nice smooth mashed potato on the top, makes the mashed potatoes first, takes them over here, lets them cool, and makes the lentil and mushroom stew. And then he puts the stew in a baking dish, takes the mashed potatoes, pumps and the little bits on top, building a cloud. That when you put it in the oven, you get all of these brown toasty bits instead of the little pork ridges that you get on normal Chinese pie, and it's visually outrageous and very tasty.
That sounds fun. And it also, it sounds kind of like baby dumplings, you know, or biscuits on top.
It looks that way,
Who is the chef?
Jamie Oliver,
yeah.
he's on the cooking shows. you know.
okay.
Yeah, if you look up Jamie on, if you go to YouTube and you look up Jamie Oliver Shepherd's Pie, you'll see that. I'm gonna add my cashew cream. This has been aged, so it's a little closer to yogurt. And
So cashew cream is cashews that have been soaked. Then you drain them, blend them up with some water and a lot of times lemon juice. Or sometimes when you're doing a Mexican thing, you might do chipotle pepper in there. And it makes it more like sour cream or
yeah, and
some other white stuff.
if you put in a teaspoon of yogurt with active stuff, you'll get the lactobacillus
Uh-huh.
acid, or things going on, bacteria, eating it, and you develop a natural sour that you realize tastes like yogurt, tastes like butter, tastes, it has that taste that makes it worthwhile.
Okay.
It's not just food, it's never, it can't be just food.
Yeah.
It's gotta be delicious.
So mine cooking for 10 or 15 minutes. I think it's probably been almost 10 now. And I added a little cilantro. So antioxidant wise, we've got the spices and all your fruits and vegetables have some level of antioxidants in them. So can your whole grains, but you often just think fruits and vegetables, spices have a lot. So when we incorporate those, and if we're trying to go more plant-based, which we might be doing for our health, the more fruits and vegetables you eat, the better, right? So I encourage you to aim. How many fruits and vegetables do you think you get a day? 2, 3, 4?
4.
Total between the two, fruits
4.
and vegetables added together. 4, okay.
4, yeah.
So depending on the portion size, they're saying 8 to 10. So like 8 to 10 half cups portions. So the thing is, when you increase the vegetables, like you fill your plate at least half with fruits and vegetables, then it decreases the stuff that doesn't have many antioxidants in it on your plate and fills you up.
Yeah.
So it's not hard to get these antioxidants, and they are very, very powerful. Berries are one of the most powerful antioxidants. So is everybody getting their berries every day? You know, berries aren't in season right now. And when I try to count how many of everything I have every day, if I do that, I'm always low in the berries. So I finally just got those organic frozen blueberries,
Yeah.
and I have a little cup every night. And that's my little dessert. So I'm getting mine every day.
This is the last thing here. This is garam masala. Garam masala is like chili powder or curry powder or whatever. It's a mixture. And there are different garam masalas depending on who makes it. So pick a garam masala that you like, or make your own.
I've made my own. I
Yeah.
made it for Christmas gifts.
And it's a nice finishing spice. If you put it in early, it will sort of dissipate in with the steam. So save it to the very end. And
I was surprised they saved it till the end. I guess I kind of thought it would have to cook throughout.
you know, and save all your little jars. That's where you're gonna get a ton of spices. Talk about getting
Getting our antioxidants in.
50 different things in a week. You get 6 spices. I think.
That is true. Yeah, the recommendation is to get more plants, but also to get a diversity of plant foods. And they recommend at least 30 different plant foods a week.
Wow.
So these two dishes alone are probably, when you count spices counts. And if you have oatmeal in the morning, that counts. So I bet we have like 15 or 20 here.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
yeah.
Should have counted them. Okay, so while I'm still cooking a little bit here, the last thing I'm gonna do when after it's done is 10 or 15 minutes. So I added the tomatoes, I added the potatoes and the peas, I added some water, and now I'm just letting it cook for a bit. I'm gonna add, don't tell me, oh, I need my glasses. So once the potatoes seem kind of done, then I add this kasuri methi, which is fenugreek leaves. Now, John had these in his cupboard. Do you all?
They were unopened.
They're all- I don't have them in my cupboard either. But fenugreek is often a seasoning that you will see. It's a little white powder, and it's in Greek food a lot, and it's in Indian food. So this is just the leaves of that. So we'll add that at the very end. If it's thicker than we want, we'll add a little more water. We'll sprinkle it with a little cilantro, and that will be it. So while that's cooking, let's just talk about the holidays. Anybody having trouble with what they're gonna serve or what they're gonna eat during the holidays? Now, John said that they've been baking a lot.
Oh, nice.
Sometimes when you're baking a lot during the holidays, you can have what Chef AJ would call a snacksident. Because you can maybe have a little more than you want. Anybody having trouble with that?
No, I just have to take care of quality and
Okay, yeah, that's true.
if the
You do-
cookie is not
He's in charge
perfect,
of quality, that is true.
then it can't be seen by.
Well, I think, yeah, all right. I think everybody appreciates that. Okay, well, what are you serving for Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever you got going on? New Year's? What you cooking?
I cook creamed onions.
Creamed onions, okay, how do you do that? I've never had them.
Well, you just make a basic white sauce
Yeah,
and cook up little pearl onions. It's kind of plain sort of thing, but it's very traditional in my family.
do you get canned pearl onions?
I get frozen.
Oh, that's a good idea, okay. So if we were so inclined to make that a little more plant-based, we could use that cashew cream, would be perfect.
Or coconut milk.
Coconut milk. You know, coconut milk, you were right, it works in every situation, but it's just pretty high in saturated fat.
Yeah.
I found even in recipes, like if this called for coconut milk, I would just use my regular plant milk with a couple drops of coconut flavoring. And it's not quite as thick, that's good. Okay, that sounds fun. Okay, what else we making?
My daughter-in-law wants.
Okay.
She makes,
She makes it, okay. You have to bring a dish?
no,
No?
I just go there. I'll be there for 4 days.
That sounds awesome. Okay. So, anybody else having, they're making special? Any traditional recipes you're trying to change up a little, like the students were working with us a couple weeks ago? Anything?
Well, I think I'm gonna try putting some basil on the creamed onions. I'm gonna
Okay,
try it out for myself first and see how it tastes.
great way to add a little bit more plant and antioxidants. Okay, that sounds fun. John, what's your holiday?
We usually have Norwegian meatballs,
Uh-huh,
which is, I've got a new recipe for that, it's soy girls and what else? Oats
okay,
and panko and flaxseed, of course, flaxseed is the glue,
okay.
and then spices, ginger and salt and pepper.
Mhm.
And gravy is the ginger gravy. green gravy.
Time.
Yeah, when can we be there? Yeah,
I'm a slow prepper, and so I may start at noon, but we may be today. We don't worry about kids, because at my siblings' house, they will have a Scandinavian dinner of lutefisk.
Isn't that some
It's,
kind of fish?
it's salt guard fish that has been reconstituted in lye. Made, rinsed thoroughly, sort of gelatinous, and then you bring it up to heat and serve it with melted butter, salt and pepper. And I say, I believe I'll have the meatballs. But half of my family thinks that is the meaning of the whole year. And stuff like that.
My in-laws had that too. Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
it's always the joke. It's the threat in our house.
You gotta eat that.
Oh, no. We talk with, but that's whenever you talk to my family, how's the ludicrous this year? Because some years are frozen better than others.
What kind of fish is it?
Odd,
What's called?
yeah, and it's poor people food. The Norwegians don't eat it. It's we get standing rib roast. What's wrong with you? It's like the people who came to America were the second sons. They were the ones who didn't get the land. And they were very poor, so they ate poor people food, and their children and grandchildren thought it's a tradition we have to keep. So, eating poor people food.
Okay, and then what are you making, Leanne?
I have no plans as of yet.
No?
I finished finals though. I did well. Thank you. Yeah.
Let's see, what else am I gonna make? I think I'm gonna make that, I made it a few years ago here as a butternut squash. They cut it in half and then you slice it. So that like if you open it, it'll be like an accordion kind of, it's called Hasselback.
Oh, yeah.
And then I can't even remember what you stick in there. You do a feta, tofu feta, and there's pomegranate seeds, and there's some greens on there. And then you bake it. It's a popular item in our home.
Nice.
And then my husband's family always does date nut bread. And it is the farthest thing from healthy that you can imagine. And so I have veganized that a bit. So we're gonna do that. And I have a question. Where do you get your dates?
I already told you, I get them at
Trader Joe's. Okay. Anybody else? I used to get them at Costco and they don't have them anymore.
I got them, well, I don't get full dates now. I get
Oh, you get the
the
date parts.
date parts
Yeah.
because they're $1 a pound cheaper than you'll see.
Yeah.
It's like,
Maybe I need to switch to that.
Did you go to Costco business?
I don't know what that is. Is it
Oh.
Costco?
Yeah, it's on Watt Avenue, just off of El Camino.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sure they have dates because they have a huge Afghan clientele there.
Oh.
They have a lot of things there that they don't have at the regular Costco.
Oh, see, that's good to know.
Yeah, it's called Costco Business, it's right
Oh.
on Watt Avenue.
Okay, I'm gonna have to Google to see like if there's some.
in there.
Well, they're even more expensive though. I love Winco. And that's where I'll end up going if I don't find them at Costco. Because the Costco is just a huge bag and it's not expensive at all. And you know, sometimes the recipe calls for the dates. And that's like $10.
Can you use the jewel date?
Yeah,
They have
Yeah.
those, I'm sure they have those.
these are the Naglet doors that
Oh,
they
yeah.
had, and those were generally cheaper.
Some Costco's, they have it, some don't.
I know, I need to
Yeah.
Google it. You're right.
I don't know that you can, I don't know that Costco's.
Oh, maybe
Mm.
You can call them.
I could. Let me go answer the phone.
Try the business one, I think you'll
Okay,
have good
that's
luck
great.
there.
Good tip, thank you. Yeah. Or maybe even KP has, I'm looking for cheap is what I'm looking for.
yeah, but sometimes the farmer's market will have it because it'll be people driving up from South Valley. And to see reasonable prices,
Yeah,
it's worth their drive.
Yeah,
And they're relatively fresh off the tree, I
Uh-huh.
assume. So,
okay. I'm adding my fenugreek leaves.
And what's the name of that?
It's a fancy name. Kasuri Meti. And luckily they put in parentheses what it is. a little too much. And then we're gonna garnish it with a little cilantro. And then I think we'll be ready.
Mm.
So does everybody feel prepared to have a 2-week break, stay healthy, stay on track? Okay, what about to say keep exercising?
Yeah,
We need a plan, okay. We need a plan too for the food. I don't wanna take all your fun away. And so some people say, no, I'm gonna eat whatever is there, and that's fine. But remember, the holiday is just a day. But the trouble is, now you have your leftovers, or now you go to somebody's house, so you do wanna have a plan for how you wanna handle it. Are you gonna just have a little of everything? Are you going to just eat your favorite things? And just have a little of those? You wanna have a plan, so that you can stay strong. And stay healthy, cause your body doesn't know that it's the holidays.
it doesn't.
It doesn't. Heart disease doesn't know it's the holidays. Okay, we ready, John, you think?
Yes, well, I am.
Okay, I think I am.
Smells good.
Thank
Yeah.
you for letting us try these foods with you.
Is there a good Indian restaurant that you like to go to in Sacramento? I used to go to Kaveri, but now they're closed.
I live way out in Loomis, and we have one
Oh.
in Granite Bay that's actually very good called Avatar. You go to any-
I go to Bombay Grill, but
That's in Midtown?
yeah, and we like it, it's just that they use ghee. And I've found over the years, some days are better than others.
Oh,
I think it's because, as with a lot of ethnic restaurants, you have a chef that's a new immigrant who gets established and then decides that he can do better without having a boss. And they bring in the next guy who has another idea about what's going on. So I know my experience with Chinese restaurants is like,
yeah, mine too.
so
Does anybody know about Indian place around here? I don't know. We'll have to
The
look
only
at-
one I know, and I haven't been there, is the Bombay Grill,
Uh-huh.
but Kaveri used to be just excellent. And then I
Oh.
think they didn't survive COVID.
Oh, shoot. I
Yeah.
hate that. Oh, thank you. Okay. Okay, well, I think you guys could come on up.
Okay,
Let's do it.
Read it.
and I'm stopping recording.
Stopping recording. Thank you.